Okay, looks like we are going live. All right. Oh, there we go. Let's see here. What's this? All right, so howdy, homesteaders. We are now going live at the moment. And if you want to, just go ahead and join us in the chat as you receive the notification that we're live.
Hopefully.
So, yeah, it'll probably be a while before everybody finds out what's going on. And hopefully they're not watching another live stream somewhere. Then we might get somebody watching live here. But we do have some...
Bandana Grandma.
Bandana Grandma's with us. Hi, Bandana Grandma. All right. We do have some big news that we want to share, but oh, there's Browncoat Homestead. All right. How you doing? All right. And we're going to wait until we get some more people in and before we get into the big news that we're going to share and everything. Also, we just had
Exciting.
Yeah, it is pretty exciting, I think. Now, we did have a recent... okay, we got Windmill Farm. How you doing? All right. We just had a recent video that we put out. It was a collaboration. So far, we have a couple people, I think, are interested in joining that collaboration. And basically, it's just, 5 things that you're excited about doing this spring. And it could be like the 5 most exciting things that you're looking forward to this spring. And that's just a collaboration that we're doing. And the way it works is you would make a video on your page. And then once you make that video about your 5 things and you just mention, okay, I'm doing a collaboration with Micro Farm Starter, and you can see the playlist on Micro Farm Starter channel. And then once you make that, you come back to that video, you type in count me in, and then I'll go to your page, I'll check out your video, and I'll add it to my playlist. And the idea is to get as many of these videos in a playlist as possible.
Thank you.
So everybody gets to share their 5 things that they're excited about. Okay, we got some more people in here. We got Jackie's Kitchen and More. Okay, all right. And, okay, well, Bandana Grandma, nice to see you. All right, good.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah. All right. We wasn't really sure if anybody was going to show up.
This is our first one.
Yeah, it's our first live stream together. And we're still relatively a small channel. So yeah, we're really excited.
Very small.
Well, we're kind of growing. It's not too bad.
Praise the Lord.
But you got to start somewhere, right? And you can't always think about, things are too small and we can't do anything with it. But no, actually, it's better to have a more positive outlook on it, and you do the best with what you got, and you just move forward and you get things done. And things don't get done unless you get them done. So it's really something to keep in mind. All right, congrats. I've yet to try a live. Yeah, this is our first one. Well, I think I think we got enough people in here now. We're going to go ahead and talk about the thing that we're really excited about, the big news that we have, and it's kind of like a story. So if you don't mind listening to stories, we'll tell you a story, and we'll kind of talk about it. And we're pretty excited about it. I just got to tell you. Now, to kind of start the story, I'm not going to go all the way back to the beginning of the story, and maybe one day we'll tell that story. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I think it's pretty interesting how everything just seems to work out.
Be a very good one.
And the way certain things happen. There's the way you think things should happen. Then there's the way things actually do happen, and in this case, it's just pretty amazing. But right now, we are trying to sell our house, our other house. Right now, this is a mobile home that we're in. This is a 1-acre piece of ground. We were living in a 0.6 acres?
Just over a half acre, yeah.
Yeah, a little bit over half acre, but it was on a hillside, and it was just a really huge 5-bedroom house, and probably the nicest house we've ever lived in.
Big house, small yard.
Yeah, really big house, small yard. Well, it wasn't too small. You could do a few things. Like you could probably do some terracing, and you could probably do some raised beds, and
if it wasn't so much on the hill,
and you could do some chickens. I would imagine. Definitely do some quail and rabbits, things like that.
Oh yeah.
So there's things you could do there, but it's, just for us, it's a little bit too much. We don't need a big 5-bedroom house, right? But it was really a big blessing that we had that house and this property here. It's just a huge blessing. Also, it came with a pretty big mortgage, and so we are looking on closing on that house. If everything goes right, we should close on that house March 15th.
Lord willing.
Right. So, if we close on March 15th, then that mortgage is going to be gone. That mortgage will be gone, and then we'll actually own this piece of property free and clear. No mortgages on this piece of property over here. So that's pretty exciting.
Very.
Right. So we're looking forward to that, March 15th. And, at first, what we were going to do is, we were just going to stay here and homestead on this 1 acre.
1 acre, yeah.
It's
enough.
Yeah, and it's a nice flat piece of ground. You can do a lot with a flat 1 acre. It's quite usable. It has 2 really large outbuildings, and we were going to do that. But change of plans. We've been praying about things and seeking the Lord on things, and we believe that the Lord wants us to move.
We're moving
to another state, and let's see here. Let's see if anybody can guess.
Yeah, see if they can guess what state we're moving to.
Yeah, does anybody have any ideas of where we might be moving to?
Bandana Grandma, we'll be able to pay a lot of debts. And
yeah, we won't be debt free completely, but being without a mortgage is a big deal.
Big deal. Yep.
Arkansas, that's a good guess. That's a good homesteading state. Maine, all right, that's up north. All right, we are in Kentucky. All right, so don't guess Kentucky.
We're already here. We're already here.
New York, okay. North or south? It's kind of in the middle.
Yeah.
It's kind of in the middle.
All the way around middle.
Yeah, middle growing zone or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Not too far north, not too far south. Okay, North Carolina, that's a good homesteading state.
That'd be a great place. A little bit more west.
Okay, we're going west.
Going west.
All right. Missouri!
Hey!
Windmill Farm.
Yeah, Missouri.
Windmill Farm, Missouri. Yeah, we're going to be another homesteader in Missouri. Another one.
There's a lot of them.
Yeah, there's a lot of them. But, that's a good thing because, you get a lot of homesteaders in one state, and that means we could maybe do little collaborations, and they could visit our farm, we could visit their farm, and I know we could learn a lot from other homesteaders in the area, so that'd really be nice.
That'd be fun.
And really, it's the Lord that's leading us there. But consequently, it's not a bad place to live.
No.
Consequently, it's got a lot. 2 states away. All right.
Yeah. Susie said she was good. Yeah. It was going to be her next guess.
Oh, yeah. And so...
I like West Virginia, though.
Yeah, West Virginia's, I guess it's all right.
I like West Virginia.
But the thing I was going to get into is it's really similar to Kentucky, because the things we liked about Kentucky, they got really good, if you have children, there's good homeschool laws here. You don't let it get out. But in Kentucky, they still have corporal punishment. It's not against the law here. Ooh, touchy subject. So... but anyway, really good laws. I mean, they don't have all kinds of building restrictions here. There are some building codes, but they're not too bad. Not too bad on the building codes here. They're really good on farming and stuff. I mean, we live here. We live in town. Well, it's not really a town. It's kind of like a country town.
It's a town without no mayor,
it's just like one of those places along the road that you drive through.
You blink your eyes and you're through it.
Right. But, it's the kind of town you can actually, in the summertime, you can actually hear the cows mooing in the distance. So you can still you can still hear some cows mooing in town. So
and coyotes.
Yeah, well, no, there's not much coyotes.
Occasionally.
Really?
I can hear coyotes, yep.
Yeah, we had a lot of coyotes at our old place.
Mm-hmm. And on that hill, there's lots of chickens and sheep.
Yeah, there's a guy who's growing meat rabbits just a couple streets down.
Yeah, this is really nice.
So
place.
It's really nice area.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have a lot of restrictions on things like that here. So That's one thing I liked about I like about Kentucky. You know, you got a lot of freedom to do things. Will you be near any of the Amish communities? I don't know. Maybe.
The one community I know of is more north. It's up by Brookfield.
Yeah, right now, what we're looking for is the general scope of where we're looking for is around the Springfield, Missouri area.
Yep, Springfield.
Obviously, we're not going to move in town, but it'll be hopefully somewhere in the country
around it,
in the vicinity of Springfield, Missouri. So that's it's somewhere between maybe Springfield and Branson.
Oh, she wants to know what year.
Oh, what year? We don't know.
As soon as things all
come together.
As soon as we can.
Could be this year. It might not be till next year, but it is on course.
It's on course.
We're definitely going to be moving there.
We have to sell.
Yeah, we have to sell this place first.
Yeah.
Because once we sell the other house, then we'll have to sell this place. But I really think that we should take some time to financially recoup a little bit. Mm-hmm. Because we're still kind of going through a little financial struggle right now. So once we get that house out of the way and get ourselves a chance to catch back up and maybe build up a nest egg, then we'll see what the Lord does.
They said where Doug and Stacy is, if we're going to be near. We won't be near them.
Yeah, they're further north.
They're a lot more north and east.
Yeah, they're closer to the St. Louis area, I think.
Just above it, yeah. About an hour above.
Yeah, they're closer to Hannibal. I think
as far as I know, I don't know exactly where.
I think they're within like 45 minutes of Hannibal, Missouri. I think I've never been to their house,
but we went to their conference.
Right, we were at their conference
in Hannibal,
and hopefully we'll be able to go to their conference again this August. It's what we're planning for. Hopefully we'll get it. That's
what Susie, Bandana Grandma, just asked.
Yeah, we're hoping to go there. We wanted to go to the gathering. Down in Mississippi.
Yeah, we wanted to go there.
But we're just not able to get it together.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, we're just not going to get it together for that one. And
we really wanted to go.
Yeah, we wanted to go. It looks like it's going to be a really good gathering.
A lot of fun.
Deep South Homestead. Go over there and check out that channel.
Yep.
But yeah, they're going to have a really huge gathering here.
We wanted to.
Pretty soon. But yeah, we wanted to come, but just we're not going to be able to make it. We're kind of toying around with the idea of maybe going to Baker Creek.
Yep.
We'd like to go to Baker Creek. That would be nice.
Baker Creek. Yep.
But it really comes down to our ability.
Yep.
Our ability to go or not.
Once the house is sold, we need to reevaluate and recoup and see what we can do.
Because we're actually pushed beyond our means quite a bit right now. But
very close. Yeah.
But things are gonna recover. They're gonna recover just fine.
Oh, Browncoat said, "My prayers are with you."
Oh, yeah.
That everything goes right in the way you want it. Amen.
All right.
Amen.
So the thing I like about Missouri is it's really similar to Kentucky. I think it's even got less restrictions. So there's some videos we've been watching from other YouTubers that are homesteading in Missouri, like Thousands of Roots and... Thousands of Roots. And Living Traditions Homestead. Mm-hmm. A couple, just to name a few, and we've been gleaning little things here and there. And from what we understand, there are some places in Missouri, in that general area, that don't even have any building codes at all. That you can just build whatever you want, as long as it's safe.
Thousands of Roots is near Springfield.
As long as you build something that's safe and it's not going to fall in on itself, they're pretty much okay with it. So that's outstanding. So if you want to do any experimental building or anything like that, which, that's on our list. So
Big Bear's on here.
Okay, yeah.
Hey.
All right.
How are you?
So we are looking at moving there, and I think it's going to be a really good fit for us. Mm-hmm. And you can get a really nice piece of ground there for a reasonable amount of money. We've been looking at pieces of land there, and there's a lot of promising pieces of land there.
Very reasonable.
Right. Very reasonable. So the land's fairly cheap for the most part, depending on where you go. Really, the only struggle for us is to find a place that also has high-speed internet.
That's very important.
Because it's hard to do a live stream whenever your internet's really slow. Actually, it's impossible if it gets to a certain point.
And your job.
Yeah. I really need it for my job because I got a job now where I work at home using the internet. So we need to find a place out in the country, but also has high-speed internet. And there are places like that, even if it's like in a small town. You know, we've been looking at some of the small towns there, and even in the small towns, they have like big 5 and 10 acre pieces of ground right there, almost in town, and you know, nice usable farmland. So you know, we're kind of looking to things like that. And I really like the idea of the building codes.
Yes.
The building codes being very reasonable, because I've got some ideas. I'd like to not really do a shed to house conversion, but I would like to build a shed to house conversion. Not if that makes sense. Instead of buying a pre-built shed that cost you know, $5,000 or more, some of them are $10,000, and all it is a shell. It's just a shed, and then spending the additional money to try to convert that into a house. You know, a lot of people don't realize this, but whenever you have a shell, whether it's a $10,000 shell or a $30,000 shell of a house, the internal stuff like the drywall, the plumbing, the electrical, the kitchen, the bathroom, the flooring, all of that stuff is the same price no matter what kind of building you build. It's all the same price on the inside. So we don't think it's a good idea to buy a shed that already costs like $10,000, $15,000, whatever it would be. Especially since I know that I have enough skill, ability, and knowledge, I could actually build one of those sheds myself for a fraction of the cost. And then once you get the shell up, then again, when you get to the internal parts of the house, it's really the same price on all that stuff, unless you get it for like one of those restore places where you get things cheap.
Hey,
you know,
someone new came on.
Okay.
Stivers.
Yeah.
Say hello.
Stivers Homestead. Hope I'm saying that right.
Hello.
Oh, all right. And so I kind of like that. Have that. Oh, hey Jasper, how's it going? What are you barking at?
It's okay, Jasper. It's okay. It's all right. Someone asked a question, dear.
Okay. Oh, what's the question here?
Or said something.
Oh, it's
yeah.
asking about the Life conference, I think.
He said they're going there to give a talk at the Life.
Right. Yeah, it's Doug and Stacy. Yeah, the Homesteading Life conference. That's in August in Hannibal, Missouri.
Was we thinking about?
Yeah, we're hoping to.
We're hoping to go there too.
Yeah, we kind of covered that.
We covered that.
But yeah, we're hoping to go there if possible. Hey, Jasper. We're trying to do a live feed. All right. Trying to do a live feed, Jasper.
You got it. I'm playing with Doug and Stacey.
What are you doing? Come on now.
It was fun doing the Homesteaders Life conference last year. Face painting all the children was really.
Yeah, it was really fun.
I enjoyed it.
It was cold.
No.
That wasn't that one. No, I got it confused with the.
It was hot.
Yeah, it was hot. Okay. Yeah, I was confused with the Homesteaders of America conference. That one was cold.
I was face painting like that. It was very, very cold. My teeth were chattering. But then the one in August was the Doug and Stacy's Life conference. Now that one was very, very hot. So it was like one extreme to the other. But they were both fun.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the thing that we're probably going to want to do that we missed out on last time is the steamboat ride. We kind of missed out on the steamboat ride, and I think we're going to try to make that happen.
The big pedal boat. Yep.
Yeah, it's a steamboat going down the river. I thought that would...
The Mississippi. Yep.
Yeah, that would have been really nice. So hopefully we'll be able to do that this time.
We'll pre-pay.
Yeah, you have to pre-order that in order, because I think you only have so many seats.
Yeah, early.
Yeah, you have to get that early.
Yeah.
Okay, so where was I going? I was going with the whole building code thing.
That's right.
Okay, so I was thinking about maybe starting off with a flat piece of land that has really nothing on it, because you can get those fairly cheap, and then maybe building like a shed, and then do it into like a house conversion, and it'd be like a small house, not really like a tiny house, but fairly small, just like a living room with a kitchen built in, and a bedroom, and then a bathroom, and that's it. Something kind of small.
Jim in Town Gardener came by. He's the one that said he wanted to add to the...
Okay.
Yeah. Hey,
all
Jim.
Right. Okay, and so hopefully we'll do something like that just to have a quick structure up and running, and we can move into and start homesteading. And then the little bit longer goal is I'm a little ambitious, I understand, but I'm planning on possibly, it's just if I had my way about it, right? And you know how that goes. You put your plans. You say, well, if I could only do this, right? If this would all work out fine, I would love to do this.
But it doesn't always.
Yeah, but we'll see.
Yeah.
But I'd like to build a aircrete house. I have this idea for building aircrete blocks that are interlockable, easily stackable. Aircrete's a lot lighter than regular blocks, so I think we could probably pull that off to build like an aircrete block house. And it's got a lot of good things about. It has good insulation value for the summer and winter, so it doesn't cost as much to air condition. It doesn't cost as much to heat in the winter. So it's all around good idea for insulation. And then it's also not that expensive because when you make aircrete, you're only using about a third of the concrete you normally would use. So it's actually a pretty good shipping container. Yeah.
That's a good idea too.
We have looked into that. But yeah, we're hoping to do the whole aircrete thing. And that's kind of like more of the long term because I think it would take us a little bit longer to get that one done. Mm-hmm. But just getting a nice, quick, easy place to live, just basically shed conversion type house. And then once we have that up and running and we're living there, we have an RV, just so you know. We can actually stay in the RV for a little while we're doing these things. But yeah, once we get things up and we get a couple buildings on the property, I think things will look good. But we don't have anything picked out yet. These are just ideas.
We're just excited.
Yeah, we're just excited. We're just sharing with you like our dreams. You know what I mean? We don't have any particular piece of property picked out yet.
Not yet.
We have looked at some, but it seems like once you look at a property and you get your heart set on it, and you think, yeah, that's the place, it goes off the market.
Then it goes pending. Pending.
Yeah, somebody puts in their offer and they get it.
Someone wanted to know when the Life Conference is. It's August.
Yeah, I don't know the exact date. I'd have to look that up. But I think they should still have that website, homesteadinglifeconference.com
Homesteading Life,
something.
yeah. Just Google it.
Yeah.
Homesteading Life Conference.
Yeah, Doug and Stacy.
Yep, it's in Hannibal, Missouri.
Right.
And it is in August, though.
Right. And then another thing I've been kind of researching on the building house construction type thing is radiant floor heating. And I know a lot of you may be familiar with a lot of the radiant floor heating things that are out there. Most people use the tubing with the water. We're not going to do that. That's too involved, too expensive. If we do the radiant floor heating, we're going to do the electric radiant floor heating. It's easier to install. It costs a lot less money. And if something goes wrong, it's easier to fix.
Mm-hmm. Someone asked you a question. Mm-hmm. And Jim in Town Gardeners asked, is our heart set for a particular place?
Not yet. Just right now we're looking at the Springfield, Missouri area.
Around it. One side or the other.
Yeah, probably within like maybe 45 minutes to an hour of Springfield.
Stay close, yeah.
Somewhere in that area. So that's where we kind of narrowed our scope to. It could be anywhere between Springfield and Branson.
Branson, yep.
Somewhere around that area, because there's a lot of really nice places that we've seen in that area. And again, the reason why we're moving there is, we believe the Lord's directing us there. Mm-hmm. So that's why we're moving there. And like I said, it just happens to be a really great place to homestead. So that's
we're excited about
right.
It, yeah.
We're really excited about that. So that's the huge big news. And like I said, I'm not sure when it's going to happen. It might happen this year. It might not happen until next year. But it's definitely going to happen.
It's going to happen.
It wouldn't happen. It definitely, if it doesn't happen this year, it'll definitely be next year. I couldn't see us going more than another year here.
No. Yeah, I mean, I don't.
Yeah, so I think it's just a matter of things falling in place. A matter of us getting caught up financially, which I believe we can do very quickly once we get this house sold. And again, we're selling the house. We got buyers. Everything should close March 15th. And if you would pray for us on that, that it would actually close on either on or before March 15th. So that'd be really good. And, it's kind of crazy. I think I'll talk about it a little bit. Is, the people who are buying it, really nice people.
Very nice.
And they're getting a USDA loan. It's a government loan is what they're using to buy our house with. And if you've been watching the government shutdown, if you've been watching that, we have been directly affected by that because, we've gone like at least a whole month with not being able to have a clear answer on whether or not they were going to be able to buy our house or not. Because with the government shut down, the USDA government loan wasn't going to happen. Mm-hmm. So then Trump opened up the government again and was threatening to shut it down again. And we were like, well, if the government shuts down,
it's done.
We might have to find somebody else.
Yep.
Excuse me. Pardon me. But with the government shutdowns and everything, it was kind of debatable whether or not this deal was even going to happen. But the government did not shut down again. It's continuing to be open. So their government loan is going to continue to go through. And if everything goes on schedule, we should close on March 15th. So, and then once that happens, boom, it's like a huge weight lifted off our shoulders. And it's going to be easy to catch back up after that. I say probably within about 2 or 3 months, we should be completely caught up on everything. So that's really good.
Someone asked if we're still growing microgreens.
Yeah, we still have all the microgreen seeds and everything, and we still plan on doing microgreens.
Things have just been busy.
Well, I don't want to say the word busy because, a lot of people say, oh, I've been busy, And really a lot of times when people are busy, they're not really busy. They're just not thinking about it. We've been in survival mode, right? I mean, severely in survival mode. We've been doing bare minimum everything. We haven't even, we're just going on the food that we have in the pantry for now. We haven't really been buying food for a while. It's getting to the point like that. We have to decide, well, are we going to spend money on this or are we going to spend money on that? And we're juggling things. And it's been pretty tough. Pretty tough.
We see the light at the end of the
right. Yeah.
Now.
Oh, yeah. We now see that. Yeah. We're getting close.
Yep.
And it'll be a lot easier then. But yeah, because we're in survival mode, I've been putting all my time and energy into trying to solve these financial problems. So I haven't had time to do the microgreens. And I know you can make money on microgreens, but you have to get out there and talk to the restaurant owners. You have to market the microgreens. It doesn't happen automatically. You have to make it happen. And I just didn't have the time to do that, right?
Jim said, leave it in the Lord's hands.
Right.
Amen.
Yep. Amen.
Amen.
So we are going to do microgreens. We're going to continue to do that. But just to kind of clarify, our name Micro Farm Starter isn't just about microgreens.
Yeah.
Actually, when I came up with the name of that, I wasn't even really thinking about microgreens by themselves. I was thinking micro as in, you got tiny houses, right? Well, we have kind of like a tiny farm or a micro farm. So it's Micro Farm Starter. So we're going to start a micro farm. Excuse me. And that's kind of like my thought behind it. So it really, microgreens is a great thing to have on a micro farm. But we're just talking about making the best out of a small piece of land. Because here we only have an acre. Even if we go to Missouri and we get the best possible scenario, we're probably only going to have about maybe 5 acres. And that's a lot of land.
Yeah.
But we probably won't even use all of it. A lot of the land we've been seeing that's 5 acres is either half or mostly wooded. So the actual ground we would be able to farm would be relatively about an acre or less, most likely, depending on the configuration.
That's what chainsaws are for.
Yeah, chainsaws, you have to also get the roots out of the ground.
Yep.
But still, that's the whole thing behind Micro Farm Starter is we're trying to start a small farm and making the best out of the ground we've had. We've been spending years of research, okay, and we can kind of share a little bit of our testimony. Okay. Whenever we got married, for a whole year, I was researching homesteading type stuff, and also in renewable energy sources, and setting up different growing systems and things like that for about a year before I even met my wife. And then whenever we met and we were courting during the courtship, and our courtship, because of our beliefs and everything, we didn't even touch each other. We didn't hold hands or anything. And all of our meetings were supervised. We had supervised meetings, and that's what we prefer. Okay, we both prefer that. And I believe it turned out to be very beautiful. But whenever we were getting to know each other in these scheduled meetings that we were having, then we found out that, oh yeah, I know about solar energy and vertical axis wind turbines, and the aquaponics and all these different growing techniques, and drip irrigation, and raised bed, and goats, and all chickens, and all these different things, rabbits, all these things that I was sharing with her, and she was like, "Wow, she has a whole library, right?"
I had about 250 books on all those subjects.
Yeah, 250 books on the same subjects.
I've been collecting them for a while.
Right. So, perfect match, right? Perfect match.
And I had a mini farm of my own, about an acre, a little bit less, and I had miniature Nubians for dairy goats, and I had a 60 by 60 garden, and that I canned all my tomatoes, everything I needed, not everything, but a majority of it. I had raised myself and canned up and stuff like that. So I had a little bit of experience at all this stuff. Raised my own meat rabbits, and meat chickens, chicken tractors, and all that kind of stuff. And it was it was beautiful that he was actually interested in all the same things. So
right, so that really was really exciting to both of us when we found out we had so much in common during that courtship. So then we got married, and and since we got married, now let's go a little bit into our history. I guess we're going to share some of our history.
Oh.
Okay. Before I got married, I was preaching and living in an RV. And I was living in an RV in someone's driveway. And it's actually the same RV we still have. And I lived in that RV for 3 years. So I lived in my RV before it became popular to live in your RV on YouTube, I guess. At least I didn't see any videos back then about it. But anyway, I was living in my RV for 3 years, and I had some debt problems, and I still have some debt problems. And we got married, and we've been struggling with that kind of ever since. And a lot of miraculous things came to pass. All my IRS debt got solved.
We have a video about all that.
Yeah, we talked about that a little bit. Unboxing Our Life.
Called Unboxing Our Lives. Look it up.
All that was miraculously solved. I had student loans that I was dealing with that they just disappeared. I still have some other student loans, but I had so much debt. I had 2 different sets of student loans plus tax debt and all these other things going on. It was crazy. It was pretty crazy. Yeah. But now it's coming into view. So we're getting things under control.
2-family homestead. Hello.
All right, 2-family homestead.
Hey.
All right. Yeah. So.
And also they came too. I can't pronounce.
The Broussard homestead.
Broussard. Hello.
I think that's how you say it.
So glad you guys came.
All right. So basically, I had a lot of debt problems. So speed up to the future. We ended up getting this deal where I got 2 pieces of property for one basic price. It was a huge price, but it was one basic price. And now we're able to sell that other piece of property to where we have this one free and clear.
Free and clear.
So that's a huge jump from living in an RV in someone's driveway.
And the mortgage is gone.
Right, in just 5 years' time. So 5 years, I go from living in an RV in someone's driveway to owning a piece of land free and clear. So
God is good.
That's pretty awesome, I think.
God is good.
And then, once we sell this place, we can transition that into a piece of property in Missouri. So, and as far as I know, Missouri is going to be our permanent place. You know, as permanent,
Lord willing.
about as permanent as this life can get.
Our
Right.
home isn't here, though.
Right.
Yep.
So everything in this life is pretty temporary, and you know, so it's good to kind of recognize that nothing here is forever, but it's about as permanent as we can make it. We're getting a little older, so we can't be moving around all the time like I have been doing.
We, before I met him, I lived in the same house for 22 years, 23 years. And then I was living with my parents and my daughter for a little while. And then he asked me to court and get married. And so I basically, all my life as a child too, I stayed in the same, only 2 different houses. So I'm not used to moving. And so since I've been married to him, 5 years now, we have moved 9 times? No, 8 times. 8
I don't
times.
know, a lot.
8 times. 8 times. The first couple times, I'm like, I don't want to ever move again. And
Well, I
now
think-
it just gets easier.
In all fairness, I think we moved 5 times in 1 year. So in all
Yeah,
fairness,
and what? Do you think it was 1 year? Maybe a year and a half.
maybe a year and a half.
Year and a half.
So we got 5 moves out, just like boom, 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 boom. We got those out pretty quick. And then these last 3 moves, I mean, we were over there in that house for a year. We were here a year before we went over there.
In the Ridge, we were in a year.
Because we were renting this place. We rented this place for a year, and then we bought both places, moved over there for a year, and we rented this place out to some friends. And then now we moved back over here, and we've been here for, I don't know, about...
Since May.
Well, okay, since May. So that's more than 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay. And I don't know how long before we moved to Missouri. Could be 6 months, could be a year.
Maybe a little less.
yeah,
I'm
well-
hoping a little less. I'm hoping.
we're trying to make it happen as quickly as possible. But at the same time, I really just don't enjoy spreading ourselves so thin. We spread ourselves so thin over the past 5 years to make certain things happen. And it's good to take kind of a breather and recoup and re-energize and re-strengthen. And I'd really like to get a little nest egg together before we move out there.
So we can say,
Right, because if we do get just a piece of land with nothing on it, if it's just going to be a vacant 5 acres somewhere out there, then we're going to need the extra money to be able to build a house to live in. So
Jim in town said, awesome and praise the Lord. Yep, praise his
Amen.
name.
And you know, our long-term goal is to be debt-free. That is what we want to be. We do want to be debt-free.
Yep.
But it's not easy. I mean, you got to do some serious planning and strategy, and a lot of the things that's happened were just the Lord providing, really, because a lot of this stuff I couldn't have planned if I tried. So
Yep.
we'll just do the best we can. But yeah, our goal is to eventually be debt-free. And really, coming back to that building I was talking about, talking about the Aircrete house, doing an Aircrete house with a radiant floor heating. And the whole idea behind me choosing to do that is I know that we're getting older, right?
Yeah.
I'm able to do this stuff now. But whenever I'm in my 70s or my 80s, I'm not going to be able to do these really strenuous things that we're talking about here. And that's something you have to kind of think about. I know the younger people don't think about it as much, but once you get in your 40s and approaching your 50s, you really got to think about where am I going to be, how am I going to be taken care of whenever I'm not as able as I used to be. And that's a fair question. And I believe the combination of the Aircrete house with the radiant floor heating, that's going to cause our heating bill to be pretty much non-existent, especially if I'm using solar panels and vertical axis wind turbines to generate our own electricity. Maybe do a grid tie system. I'm not 100% on off-grid completely.
We have a lot of dreams.
Right, but we'll see how that turns out. That's all kind of in the air. But if I can build it in such a way where our energy costs are next to nothing, that's what you need when you're older. Okay, because the number one thing that people pay their money on is energy. The number two thing is food. Now, as homesteaders, we all address the food equation, right? That we take care of our own food, whether it be the vegetables and the all that kind of food, and even having our own fruit trees and things like that, and then raising our own animals for meat, and also eggs and things like that, and even milk, and providing our own food. You really doing all that stuff yourself. Not only are you eating healthier, but if you do it right, you actually can save money at it. Especially if you're selling stuff at the farmer's market, and the money you sell the stuff at the farmer's market is helping to finance the things that you're doing on your farm, to where it really cuts down that second highest expense, which is food. But the number one expense that most people pay for is energy, whether it be air conditioning, electric heating, gas heating, all these different things that people do to heat their house or cool their house, and also to provide energy for all the other things that they do. That's like the number one expense is energy. So whenever you're on a fixed income and you're elderly and you don't have the ability that you didn't have before, those energy costs get to be pretty hard to deal with. I hear, at least I have heard, on the radio and in the media from time to time, when it'd be like a really hot summer. I'm talking about when it gets up to like 100 degrees. And sometimes it does that. It gets to be like 100 degrees, really hot summer, and you hear all these heartbreaking stories of elderly people dying in their apartment because they could not afford to pay for the air conditioning bill. They could not afford on their fixed income to run the air conditioner, and it cost them their lives. They died. And that's sobering. I mean, I know a lot of people don't like to think about these things, but one thing about homesteading, you have to be practical. And if you're practically minded, you really have to think about these things.
Yep.
You really do.
Two Family Homestead said that heat can be just as bad as the cold. Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right. Oh, yeah.
Especially on older people.
Oh, yeah. And you have to think about that. I mean, you're not going to be, bulletproof and invincible when you're 80 years old. It's just not going to happen. I mean, you can try to stay in shape and eat right and everything, but the truth of the matter is your body's going to break down, you're going to get old, and you're going to lose ability to do things. And so, you got to plan for that. And if you plan for that ahead of time, like while you're younger, you build up a system of living, a house that you can live in that's good on your expenses, to where you can actually heat and cool yourself very cheaply, or even if you can negate that down to free by doing certain creative things. If you can do that when you're able, then whenever you're not able, then you get to enjoy the fruit of that labor. You get to enjoy the fruit of that labor in your old age.
Brown Coat Homestead, do you think you will be using a wood cook stove for heating and cooking?
Yeah, probably not for cooking. I mean, we probably do some small cooking on the stove. We do like wood stoves. Mm-hmm. The way I'm going to set it up, the wood stove will be entirely optional and mostly for our personal enjoyment. I enjoy a fire. Right, we enjoy a fire. Probably if it's cold outside and it's daytime, we're going to be running the wood stove. But I still am going to have the radiant floor heating for whenever late at night when the stove goes out, the radiant floor heating kicks on and keeps the house heated while we're sleeping. And I don't have to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning to put wood in the fire. But we do like the idea of wood stoves. But for us, it's more for enjoyment. But still, again, when you're 80 years old, how are you going to get out there to split your wood, carry your wood into the house, and burn it in the fire? You probably could do it, but it's going to be very difficult. Very difficult. So that's something that might not work when you're too old to carry the wood.
Jim's in town gardening said we have 5.
Yep, Jim in town's gardening. We have 5 years left to pay on our house, and my bride and I are working on having it paid off in 2 years. If you set your mind to it and are diligent to budget, it can be done.
Absolutely.
Amen. That's
Absolutely.
Right. That's right. And you have to focus on it, and that's another topic. Saving money. That's something that I am actually good at. Now, here for the past 4 or 5 years, I haven't had money to save. We've been spending it as fast as we've been getting it. But that's all about to change. But I'm actually really good at saving money. I mean, there was a time in my life where whenever I lost my job, I used to work for Lucent Technologies. I'm by trade, I'm an electronics technician. So I used to make pretty good money. And I had $4,000 saved up in the bank. I wasn't even trying. To do it. I just had $4,000 saved up. So whenever I lost my job with Lucent Technologies, I had that to fall back on. So I'm usually pretty good at managing my money and saving it up and not wasting it. But yeah, if you keep your mind focused on it and you put your money in the right direction, and sometimes you have to go without. You can't live going to restaurants all the time. And I got to tell you, restaurant food isn't, well, it's all cracked up to be anyway. But you can't be just like spending your money like water on things that really don't matter. To do things like this, you have to focus your money on things that do matter.
Yep.
Getting your bills paid, saving back money, paying extra on the bills. Like in the case of a mortgage, you pay your mortgage, and then you can pay principal only payments where you're only paying money on the principal. So you pay above your mortgage that goes only on the principal. And that's a really good strategy for getting your mortgage paid down quickly. And if you stay focused on that, and just like Jim in Town Gardening, what him and his wife are doing, you can actually get it paid off in a good set time period. And then once you get it paid off and you have it, that's something you can enjoy the fruit of your labor once that's done. So.
Two Family Homestead also said something. Sherry and I are planning. It's Daryl talking.
Yep.
Hey, Daryl.
Yep, traveling a bit this year, mostly due to age and health. We'll not be able to do that in a couple more years. That's right. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good topic too. I always thought, when I get older and I retire, I'm going to go travel all over the place. Well, only if you're, young enough, because it also you get older and everything. It gets to be where you won't be able to travel as much as you used to be able to. So you want to make sure if you're going to do some traveling, you do that before for a certain time period. But really, it's about planning ahead. You got to keep your eyes. Yeah, and that's another thing too. I firmly believe in is being prudent. A lot of people are not prudent these days. And a lot of people don't even know what that word really means. What the word prudent means is to look ahead and plan ahead. To look down that road, see the consequences of those actions, see where that road leads before traveling down it. That's prudent. If you just make quick decisions without thinking it through, that's not prudent at all. That's not prudent at all. A prudent person is someone who thinks it out, looks down that road, decides whether or not it's a good road to travel down, and then they travel down that road, right? And that's someone, you look ahead, you have a little foresight, and that's something that we try to do is we want to try to be prudent. We want to try to make decisions now that's going to affect our tomorrow. And that's really what that's all about. So, and that's another thing too, is once we get our homestead in full swing, we're going to be doing stuff like drip irrigation, raised bed gardening, doing some mulch and stuff, or maybe straw mulch or even wood chips, whatever we can get our hands on. Things that's going to minimize our time working in the garden. Things that's going to minimize, watering systems for animals. Things that are going to be a
time saver,
somewhat a time saver or almost automatic. We're looking for setting systems in place that are either semi-automatic or mostly automatic as far as taking care of the gardening and taking care of the animals, to where it doesn't require as much of our input. And that's what we're going to try to do. And hopefully we'll be able to get there. And that right there will be planning for our tomorrow. I'm not trying to do a gardening and animal situation that you have to be 20 or 30 years old to keep it going. I actually want to do it in a way that whenever I'm very elderly, I'll still be able to keep it going. So that's kind of like the idea behind that. So we're hoping to make those type of preparations.
A lot of them are talking about all the different conferences coming up.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of good conferences.
Yep.
Like I said, we're hoping to go to Baker Creek. We would like to go to Baker Creek. Hopefully that'll work out to where we can go there. Then we would also like to go, obviously, to Homesteading Life Conference with Off Grid with Doug and Stacy. We would love to go there and do that.
Roots and Refuse just announced one in April.
One in April? What are they doing in April?
They're having a meetup, a get together down.
Oh, it's like a meetup. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, them and VW Homestead.
Oh, VW Homestead.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
They're friends, and so they're gonna share it together.
All right.
They just did the video today, put it up today.
Well, I thought isn't the Baker Creek thing in April? That's in May. That's the beginning of May.
Okay.
So, yeah, we'll see. Yeah, it depends on how long it takes us to recover.
Yep.
Because
we do want to go to them though.
We're closing on a house on the 15th. Hopefully in March 15th, we'll be closing on the house, and then we'll be recovering at that point. So hopefully we'll be recovered by the time that comes around. But really, the ones I'm going to be trying to shoot for is Baker Creek. I'm also going to be trying to shoot for Homesteading Life Conference, and then again the Homesteaders of America. I'm going to try to shoot for that one. And but it's hard to do too many. And you just have to kind of pick the ones that you're able to make it to, and I think that all of them are worth going to. They really are all worth going to, but you have to pick the ones, because especially if you have animals, livestock, unless you have someone that's going to watch your animals for you while you're gone, unless you have someone that's going to take care of your garden for you when you're gone, sometimes it's hard to break away to go to these things. The good thing about the Homesteaders of America conference is it's in the fall, so there's really not a whole lot of gardening going on then. But livestock is a year-round thing. Feeding and watering your livestock, when you have livestock, that doesn't stop until you kill your livestock, I guess, and then that stops. But as long as your livestock is living, they need to be taken care of. You need to make sure that they're properly fed and watered and taken care of. And make sure that there's no disease situations happening. If you have a milking animal, those animals, they need to be milked on a regular basis. Otherwise, they dry up, and you don't want that to happen. Or you can have mastitis. You have all kinds of issues. So once you start getting these things in place, it's kind of hard to get away. So you got to really pick your conferences on that. And so I don't really see us doing more than 3 conferences a year. I don't really see us doing more than that. But if you're able to do more than that, then more power to you. That's great. But I think for us, once we can start getting these things in place, we're looking forward to quail.
Yep.
Looking forward to raising quail. That's one of the easiest things that you can raise, from what we understand.
And putting our garden in.
Yeah, we're gonna we got some seed started already. So we're looking forward to getting our garden put in. We're also possibly looking to getting the rabbits up and going again. The thing about the rabbits, we had to actually put our rabbits in freezer camp because we had to go to Georgia for something dealing with my current job. I had to go down there to train for my job in Georgia, and we had nobody to watch the rabbits.
Nope. That was a problem.
So we had to put the rabbits in freezer camp. That's why we did that. Otherwise, we'd still have them out there. So we need to get maybe some rabbits going again, and get that going as a good meat source. And I'm even thinking about doing some chickens hopefully this year. If we stay here, and that's the thing too, even though we're in transition and even though we're planning on going to Missouri, you can't just put yourself on hold. I say we're going to plant and see what happens. We're going to get some animals like quail and rabbit, and maybe chickens, and just see what happens. And worst case scenario, if we have to, put the brakes on everything and go to Missouri, if things turn out that, okay, now it's time to go, then we either sell off our livestock or we put them in freezer camp and we take them with us.
Or we, yeah.
Right, or you can take them with us.
Or we can take them with us if we can.
Depends on how that works out.
What animal?
But until then, we're just gonna homestead. We're gonna homestead with what we've got until then, and make the best of it.
Yep.
And just go from there. So we're not gonna put anything on hold. Obviously, we're not gonna get anything big. We're not gonna get cows or goats or anything like that. That would be too much to take on if you're in transition. But I think quail, rabbit, and even chickens. Like just doing 8 weeks of meat chickens with the Cornish cross to put a bunch of meat chicken in your freezer. You can do that while you're still in transition.
That's what we're aiming for.
Yeah, so you can still do that, and you can even buy laying hens whenever they're just getting ready to lay. They're more expensive that way. You got to pay more per bird, but you can actually do that too.
Windmill Farms leaving. Bye.
All right. Good night.
Good night. Prayers on a house selling. Oh, thank you for your prayers on our house selling.
Yeah, so that's all we wanted to share, and I think this is probably a good time to call it a good night. And we want to thank everybody for coming to our live stream.
Yes, thank you so much. We didn't know if anybody would show up.
Right, this is kind of like our first official live stream together.
Very first.
I actually, no, we had another live stream. I was like doing like a teaching or something. But that was different.
That was different.
That wasn't like this.
That wasn't for this channel.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I think it was. It wasn't like this.
Okay.
You don't remember it, but I remember it because I did it.
Okay, I don't remember.
But this is kind of like our first live stream together.
Oh, I do remember it now.
Now you remember it.
I remember it, yeah.
Okay. All right. So, but this type of live stream, this is our first time we've done this.
They're very happy. Two Family Homestead. Thank you.
All right.
We're excited.
So I want to thank everybody for coming, and that was our big news. Our house is looks like it's going to be sold. There's no government shutdowns right now, so that should go through now. And we're going to continue to pray that everything works out with that. And then once we get that house off our backs, then that's going to open up a lot of opportunities for us to move forward. And we are going to be moving to Missouri, hopefully sometime this year or early next year. But it should be within about a year and a half. I wouldn't see it going longer than that.
No.
Because we do have some urgency to move there, because nobody likes to be in transition. Nobody likes to be halfway somewhere. So as soon as we get things stabilized, and as soon as we get someone to buy this property, where we can just pick up and go, we will do that at that time. And I'm not looking forward to moving in the winter. So hopefully we'll move sometime either summer or fall or early next spring, something like that. We'll see what comes of it.
What the Lord brings. Yep.
See what the Lord does with that. Sometimes I think it's going to take a long time, and then all of a sudden everything just falls in place, and boom, now we're going.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, things change, and before you know it, you think, oh, it'll be a while, and then boom, it all happens at once.
Right. So
that's
the big news. That's the direction that we're heading with this homestead, with this farm. But even though, like I said, even though we're in transition, we're going to make the best of what we got, and we'll do what we can. And we're not going to stop just because we're not going to put everything on pause. We're going to continue to do things as we're able to do them. And then whenever we're ready to go, then that's when we'll either slaughter our animals or and put them in the freezer and then take them with us that way, or sell them or something like that. And we'll just figure that out when we get there. But we're not going to just say, okay, we're not going to be in pause mode while we're waiting. No, we're not going to do that. We're going to be active. We're going to be waiting, but we're going to be actively waiting and doing things. Mm-hmm. So I want to thank you all for coming out, and good night.
Good night.
Let's see here. I got to turn this thing off.